Judas and the Candy Man. Like a freight train rolling, bringing truth bombs down the line. Promoting the Southland 1 week at a time. Promoting the Southland 1 week at a time. SCV chat starts now.
It's Monday o'clock on it's Monday o'clock. Wow, that's a perfect way to start this episode from what me and Adam been talking about behind the scenes. It is 7 o'clock on a Monday afternoon, so you know what time it is. It's time for your weekly episode of SCV Chat. I'm your host, Moose. And before we get started, please remember, the views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are not necessarily the views and opinions of the SCV, its GEC, nor the Divisions, Brigade, Camps, or any other subsidiaries. Whew. All right. We have our lovely executive director on, Adam Southern. Adam, how are you doing?
Lovely. Looking around to see where that executive director is. Doing good, Moose. How are you?
I'll be doing good if I can get this figured out. From what I said behind the scenes, it's still not working. Just my luck. But we'll figure it out.
Yeah. I have faith in you.
Thank you.
So what's been going on this week? Let me start off by saying, go Vols. It's great to be a Tennessee Vol.
Ole Miss, we ain't got nothing to celebrate. We almost got beat by a team that no one's ever heard of in their life. I didn't know this team existed until this weekend. And I just randomly look at the score, and it's tied, and I'm like, this is why I go for Liberty now. So Liberty won. I'm very happy about that. We've been playing good over there in Liberty. Go Flames.
Yeah,
Victor got lucky.
My alma mater of Middle Tennessee State University had a big win over Miami, so that was huge for them. Victor Smith, Gator tastes like chicken, son. It's good. Chomp, chomp.
Oh, Chuck says, go Tigers.
I won't go there yet, but it was an exciting week of football. I'll say that. It
was.
I've been looking forward to this time of year for a long time. I love college football. I love there's Carl Jones.
Oh, Carl.
What's going on, Carl? But I love the competition and the friendly ribbon that we give everybody, especially those Florida Gator fans. Bless their hearts. But yeah. So what are we going to talk about? Hearth and Home tonight, huh?
That might be one of the greatest segues ever, Adam. So what are we talking about tonight? Oh, gosh. Yeah, the old Gators lost Saturday, I heard. Ole Miss, yeah, again, they almost got beat by a team I've never heard of. But Liberty did well, so I am happy. I'll be happy as soon as I can get this thing that I'm working on fixed. It's for the show tonight. It was ready to go at 2 p.m. today. And then I sign on at 6:30, and it's like, nope, we're going to jack it up for you and make you have to re-edit it. So life is going great behind the scenes for me right now. Carl. Adam, how much do I get paid for this again?
Whatever it is, not enough.
I did get some lovely bread pudding this weekend. That was fantastic. I got that from my cousin. I figured out I had another cousin this weekend. So yeah? I want to thank her for that. Your payment is in heaven. Yes, that is true.
There you go.
Lieutenant CIC is driving back from Little Rock, Arkansas SCV meeting today. Thank you, Mr. Ron, for telling me that. I got to
Safe
see.
travels.
Yes, very safe travels. I got to meet Commander Gramlin this weekend as well. Let's see here. David, I see you're in the chat as well. How are you doing, David? I was talking to you behind the scenes. I had to cut you short because I was dealing with just like this crisis behind the scenes of this video being like, you know what? I'm going to stop working 10 minutes before you're supposed to go live. And that's what I get for not paying the editing bill this month. Let's see here. Anything else we want to talk about before we get into tonight's stuff? Moose fact of the week is there is no moose fact of the week. That's a good one, isn't it?
Can you talk about what you did this weekend?
I guess we can talk about it. Chuck, am I allowed to talk? That's a great question before we get started. Am I allowed to talk about anything, Chuck? Chuck is going to come on and talk about my week at some point. We don't know when yet. Okay, go ahead. So I'm going to talk about it for a very short time for the sole purpose of I don't want to steal all of Chuck's topics. I do have I have some notes because I'm that type of guy. So let me make sure I say at least one thing right before I. All right, here it is. All right, so this weekend, don't forget to pray for the folks in Louisiana and around in Louisiana, in Florida, especially around Tampa. I've talked with a golly, my eyes, SCV supporter today. It looks like they will take a hard hurricane hit. We'll be keeping them in our prayers. This weekend, I had the great honor of again having a free ride to an SCV event because my father was invited to it in Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana, to be more specific, where we got the joy of watching a time capsule be opened from the United Confederate Veterans Reunion in Shreveport in 1936. So it was awesome. I'm sure you've seen a couple of the pictures online. I don't want to talk about everything in the box. I want to leave a lot of that for Chuck, and I want Chuck to talk about, of course, all the things that went into this massive event. It was a great day to sit there and watch history be opened, and it felt like we were stepping back in time. And the great program before then that explained this whole event, the United Confederate Veterans Reunion in 1936, and to also just hear a bit of history about their camp and everything else. I mean, it was awesome. So it felt like I was going back in time. Like I felt like I was just at that event yesterday, even though like even my grandparents weren't born in 1936. So, it was an awesome event. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it, but the flag that came out of that time capsule, oh my gosh,
It's beautiful.
I don't know if I've ever seen a flag in that good condition from a time capsule.
Yeah, to be locked away in a time capsule, that was fantastic.
I mean, it was just fantastic. There was like only one thing you can find wrong about it, and it was probably a stain it got during the reunion. Everything else about it looks like you just pulled it out of the bag, like it's brand new. It was amazing. It was a fantastic weekend. And yeah, I agree with my father. The Taylor camp and all who was involved did a fantastic job. But I'll leave the rest of that for Chuck. Let's see here. Mr. Ron said the most important thing that in a 1930s time capsule, there was nothing about white supremacy, anti-black, or Jim Crow. Yes, it was just people proud of their heritage. Imagine that. Something we've been saying for years. Don't you just love that? But it was a great day. Fantastic, absolutely amazing. I don't know. Let's see here. Oh well, we can go ahead and get into one of tonight's sponsors then. Let's see here. All right, tonight's one of tonight's sponsors. Before we get into, of course, Adam's part of the show. is LarryMcClooney.com. LarryMcClooney.com and our past Commander-in-Chief, Larry McClooney, has a ton of fantastic books you can get. You can get in General Beauregard's defense. Like all of our Confederate heroes, General Beauregard has been under attack. But General Beauregard has always faced a lot of scrutiny, dating back to when he was still alive, in fact. So this book lays out like a court case. And our past Commander-in-Chief does his very best to defend Beauregard, all his actions, all what he did during the war. And it reads like a great court case, a fantastic read, and of course defending another great Civil War general. And I said Civil War, my apologies. Again, it's been a Monday for me. So great book. And then On to Vicksburg. On to Vicksburg is another great book. Love it, love it, love it. I got that when I first got into college. And of course, the Yazoo Pass Expedition. Yazoo Pass Expedition is one of the few books that is on the Yazoo Pass, actually. So I would encourage everybody to get all of these. We at least buy one so we can defend Adam. Something's happening to Adam behind the screen.
Attacked by dogs, wild dogs.
Yes, they are some great reads, great books. But I would definitely, I recommend highly all of them. Only one I have not read is the Yazoo Pass Expedition, which I will be trying to get that shortly. Fun fact enough, I've read in General Beauregard's defense, but I do not own a copy. So that's something else I'll be having to get shortly. But again, if you find any of these books interesting, if you want to be able to defend General Beauregard, figure out a bit more about Vicksburg or the Yazoo Pass, I highly recommend these books, and I would highly recommend you go to LarryMcClooney.com. Link is in the chat, and that will be our first sponsor for the evening.
What a sponsor!
Yeah, what a sponsor! Bless his heart.
A heck of a guy.
Heck of a guy. So without further ado, Adam, if you want to talk about your stuff for a bit and
Sure.
all that.
Yeah, let's start off and talk about some stuff that we always mention. I like to mention, we have a couple of programs at HQ. We need that for the gift shop whenever it comes out, in defense of moose.
I need it. I get attacked daily. Usually by Connor, though.
Yeah. The Life and Times of Connor Bond. That would make for an interesting book, too. No comment there? But, like to mention our flag sponsorship program. I like to call it the Keep It Flying program. We do a program at HQ where you can sponsor the flag that flies over the National Confederate Museum and the headquarters property for 1 month. And it's $200. And at the end of the month, we take your flag, we fold it, we give you a certificate of authenticity saying that it flew over HQ for that 1 month, and we send it back to you. So you get a flag that flew over HQ for a month. It's a beautiful 6x10 flag, embroidered flags, nice stitching. It's one that will last for a while. I think it's a really quality flag. And $200. I think that's a great way to support HQ. Make sure we always have a nice flag flying over our property because this is our national headquarters, international headquarters, actually. So we need to be proud of it. Make sure our flag's looking good all the time. And that's one way you can do that and get something in return. We also have the Friends programs. We have Friends of Elm Springs, Friends of the Museum. We have membership levels or tiers all the way from $25 up to $1,000. So any way you want to help us, you can. And it's just a great way to get everything from free memberships to the museum and house up to hats, t-shirts, other items. So like I said, whatever level you want to help, we appreciate it. And it's a way to get something in return. We're doing a bricks and pavers program, trying to increase the sidewalks and walkways on our property. Harrison was just up at HQ a few weeks ago, and we walked along what we will hopefully be adding those pavers to, and it's a lot of ground to cover, isn't it, Harrison?
It's a lot to cover, so there's plenty of opportunities to know that for a fact you can be a part of something special. And when we get these done, just imagine this. So this organization was founded in 1889. It's been a while ago, people. And so you know that the person you're honoring with these bricks, their memory will live forever. Either your camp or something special like that, a member that passed away, you will be remembering them and internalizing them at the international headquarters of the Sons of Confederate Veterans forever. And I've heard a lot of these plans, what they plan on doing. What did I say? I flipped the two back numbers, didn't I, Chuck? I figured I did.
1896, yeah.
Yeah, I figured I switched it because, again, that's just how my Monday's been going today. But again, these are very awesome. They plan on doing these for a while, so make sure you jump on the train now, though, because I mean, as soon as this is done, this is done.
Yeah, and you can do a paver. You have 6 lines on a paver. I believe they're $100, and then the bricks are $50. You get 3 lines on those. Put your name, put your ancestor's name, family members. You have somebody pass away, do memorial bricks. We have the Arkansas division. They've done 1 paver for each past commander of their division, which I think is a great way to honor people who have held high offices in either your camps or your divisions. So just endless opportunities to have bricks added to our property, because we're going to need a lot of walkways out there. The first walkway that we're working on will lead from the museum to the family cemetery there at Elm Springs. And then from there, it's going to go over to the new General Forest Plaza once we have that erected. So don't you want your name there as people are walking towards General Forest, because you're going to be, that's a very high traffic area. People are going to walk out there, and it would be great for them to see your name that way. What's our historian in chief saying here?
Oh, he's talking about his participation in the program, the flag program, that is. And I've seen it at the house. We have it there proudly, and it is just beautiful. Very nice, high quality flag too, like Adam said. And again, you get to help HQ out with this, and you get a flag that flew over the headquarters of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, which is just awesome to me still.
Yeah, as far as we appreciate your support of that program, both the Dawes guys here have been great supporters of our museum, so we appreciate them. One thing I would like to add about the flag program is we do have flags paid for through the end of the year. We don't have anything into 2023 yet, so if you pay for a sponsorship now, you'll be first on the list for January. So it won't be too long before you get your flag. So now's a good time to do it. Go ahead and put your name on that list. And one thing that is kind of new, but we've got these new challenge coins. One side it says Hearth and Home with SCV 1896 logo. And on the back it has our beautiful Elm Springs mansion. And we give these out to people that help us at headquarters. But if you can't get to Elm Springs to help us, I understand that. We have a few in the gift shop that you can buy for $15 to support Elm Springs and our headquarters. So look for these on our online store. Yes, thank you, sir. Appreciate the opportunity to do what I do. But I really am proud of how these coins turned out. I gave Harrison his when he came to HQ, so
I love it.
Appreciate all that he does for SCV Chat. I know we give him a hard time, but hey, he's really a good guy.
Thank
you.
Yeah,
we're ready to go into our artifacts. You ready to go?
Oh yeah, I'm ready when you are, boss man.
All right, let's go. Let's see what you pull up first. Surprise me.
All right, here we go.
All right, there's Joey Nolan, and that is David Daniels, and I don't know who that ugly guy is, but there in front of him is a camp chair, that has provenance tying it to the 3rd Kentucky Mounted Infantry. So this is a camp chair that was carried throughout the war by that infantry unit. And David Daniels donated that to Elm Springs just a few days ago. So we now have it, I believe, in some display cases, if we have any pictures of that. There's a close-up of what the chair looks like. The upholstery appears to be original on it. Just a few minor tears. That was it in the library, and now we have it out on display. So that's part of our collection that you can come and it will be on display when you visit the museum. Now, what else do we have? Just came in here.
All right.
All right. Again, there's that ugly guy. And then there is our Commander-in-Chief, Jason Boshears, Historian-in-Chief, Forrest Dawes, AOT Commander Jimmy Hill, and there is Mr. Moose. And we are standing around a pair of trousers, which are very unique. These are actually very fabulous trousers because these were authentic Confederate uniform pants. The design of these pants is called a fall front trouser. It's very similar to what your Navy seamen wear, but it doesn't have a button fly. It's a fall front. And they belong to a man named Private James Davidson, who was in the 9th Mississippi Infantry. And he had a very short war. And I think that's why the pants are in such remarkable condition. He enlisted, I believe, in 61, and then December of 61. By December of 62, he's wounded at Murfreesboro. And that's pretty much the end of his war. So that's why these pants are in such remarkable condition. We now have those in our permanent display as well. And these were donated by Forrest Dawes, so we appreciate that donation. And the guy was kind of interested. I love these pieces that we're able to tie to individual people because it gives an idea of the age and the backgrounds of the people that were fighting for the Confederacy. This guy was a young man. He was a shoemaker from Mississippi. And as I said, was wounded at Murfreesboro and pretty much ended his active military career. He stayed in the Army, but did not go out into the field anymore. I thought that was a great piece. We've always been saying we need textiles. And Forrest Dawes came through with some textiles. And it was great to see, especially these unique pants, because these are, like I said, not something that you ordinarily see, fall front trousers. But we do have a picture of the 9th Mississippi, as we don't have it. I forgot to send Moose a copy of it.
Oh,
but,
I was like, oh, did I miss it?
No, you didn't miss it. I just forgot. But there's a picture of the 9th Mississippi when they were in Pensacola, Florida. And you can see in the picture, the people in the unit are all wearing this type of trouser. So glad to have these in the museum. Glad to have that provenance to them. And it's just another feather in our cap, I think, that we can show authentic pieces like this. Now, on the other side of that, we've got some other items that are not authentic, but they give you an idea of what the uniforms look like. A man named Jim Johnson has been donating some reenacting gear. And we've been able to put up some mannequins around the museum here. We haven't had any brogans donated yet or any shoes. So all of our mannequins are without shoes. That's all right. The Confederate soldiers went without shoes sometimes. So, but as you can see, we have a nice Confederate sailor's uniform that we've been adding. And that one is fall front, like we were talking about earlier. So that was kind of neat that we were able to have these mannequins and show what the sailor's uniform looks. That's in the naval section of our timeline in the museum, and fits right in perfectly. And then the next one, I think, is just an ordinary foot soldier. Nice little sack coat on him, haversack. He has a U.S. belt turned upside down. He's ready to go. Looks like he's ready to march into the battle right now. But so just every little bit of helps. These donations. People say, "Well, I don't have much to donate. I might have some reenacting gear. We can put it to work. Reenacting clothes are always good for props. Always good to put on a mannequin. Might put them out, let some kids use them for photographs around the museum. So, I mean, that would be fun for the kids to do when they come to the museum. Put them on, have some toy muskets out there. I think that would be good. And then we've got one final picture. This other donation came in. And I just thought this was beautiful. This beautiful bench was made out of, I believe he said that was cedar. I could be mistaken, but it does look like redwood, like cedar. But compatriot McCommon from Mississippi made this for us. And it was so beautiful. We've asked him to make some more because, as you can see in the background, the timeline has a lot of text there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good place for people to sit and read some of that timeline information. And I think we might be able to fit 4 or 5 more into the museum and put it around the timeline, have other places for people to sit. And I thought that's just a fantastic piece and appreciate him bringing that up and making a donation out of it.
It's just outstandingly beautiful. So, and two, yeah, the timeline's going well, or it's going up great. To be honest, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, they're like 99% done. I think.
Oh yeah, they're getting there. I think the Kennedy brothers are writing their piece for it, and that's one of the final pieces. I'll be working on my piece in the next couple of days, the pop culture section. Really excited about that. We've got some cool pieces to add to it. We've talked about it before on the show, but we'll be doing that tomorrow. And yes, it's right. Jimmy Hill, he was able to get enough money to order the Navy Cutlass. So we'll be adding that to the naval section as well. So timeline's coming along great. And Candy section is finished. Just waiting on it. He says they put it up today. Jimmy and Robert have been on fire. I'm telling you. I don't know what we're paying them, but we need to double it.
The timeline's up, David, but the QR code, that's the great thing. They already have it designed for people like me who are sending stuff in for the QR codes. Don't take just a lot of time, but make sure you get all the research done and all that. I'm sure Jimmy, our Commander Hill, could speak on that a bit better than I can. But just because the timeline up does not mean we can stop writing for the QR codes because
no, keep writing. Jimmy
Yes.
left space for the QR codes, and all he has to do is print those and put them in place. And there's that place is reserved for the QR code. So keep writing.
Yes, please do. Miss Sandra said, Adam, we have purchased the Victorian Bible for the museum, thinking one on the Scottish one.
Okay. Yeah, she had gone through a local antique store, and they had some 1840s Bibles that were very beautiful pieces. And of course, the religious section in our museum is a big part of the timeline, talking about the Great Revival. And Bibles were so very important to the Confederate soldier. It was one thing that they could take with them, and you have to think how much comfort reading the Bible gave them. And Yankees considered Bibles contraband and confiscated Bibles, burned Bibles. So Bibles very important to the Southern people. So she found these period Bibles, and we'll be glad to add those to the case in the religion section.
Awesome. The museum is doing such great things. And again, I want to thank everybody involved. I want to give a big thanks to Adam too. Adam's been working his butt off, and he finds the time to come on late on a Monday every month and tell us what they're doing, find some good stories to tell. And, coming from someone that, we got to plan these things, weekly, twice a week. It gets hard after a while to keep planning for these episodes. So I want to thank Adam for coming on and doing this, and also all his great work he's done at the museum.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And of course, we're still trying to keep Elm Springs renovated, and we hadn't forgotten about the house, even though we've moved offices. We still have a responsibility to keep Elm Springs in great shape, and that's one thing that we'll be working on in the next couple of weeks. Is removing the dining room was the last room that we restored at the house. We've been diligently working and trying to raise money to work on our next project, which will be the entry hall. Fall garden's going along pretty good, and I think we've got some pictures, don't we, Moose?
We do. Do you want to go ahead and talk about them, or
yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Kayla's pumpkins are really doing well.
Yeah,
you can see
go ahead.
Some of the smaller gourds she's got. Those are really colorful ones. They're really beautiful. I think it's about as large as they'll get. And a lot of people like those for decorating inside and out their homes in the fall. And she's got some pretty big pumpkins coming up, too. I'll see what that next picture looks like. This thing just keeps getting bigger. I think it's going to be the pumpkin that ate Elm Springs before long. But I don't know what kind of pumpkin that is, but it is huge.
It is humongous. I get a pumpkin to paint every Halloween. I don't know. I've been doing that for 4 years, and I got to give her this. I don't think I've ever seen a pumpkin that big at Walmart. Elm Springs has officially better pumpkins than Walmart, so I want to throw that out there.
Really good dirt over there. We have the garden. We had fantastic luck with watermelon this year. Had several watermelons over 30 pounds, and we were growing a historic variety from the 1840s, which they said was very, very delicious. I enjoyed the one that I cut. So, but yeah, her fall garden's going very well. Pumpkins are coming in. She has cabbage out now, and she's working on landscaping program for a historic formal garden that will go around the house. Kayla's really a go-getter, and she enjoys working out in the yard, and this gives her an outlet for her frustrations, I think. Had a bad day at work, go out there and dig in the dirt. So
that's what I used to do when I was a kid. I wasn't planting anything. I was probably destroying plants. But I'm glad she's up there having a good time. Elm Springs also looks beautiful. People, if you haven't seen Elm Springs for a minute, not just the museum, but it's well, really there's 3 things to go up there and check on always. Elm Springs is always changing. Beautiful home. The museum is always changing, and the museum always go visit that. And then of course you have General Forrest's grave. Always go out there and pay respects when you can. So I mean, our headquarters has so many things. You can go multiple times and not see everything they've changed. Because Adam has done a great job. All the employees at HQ, everybody working on this. I don't want to leave anybody out, but they have done a fantastic job of always making things stay fresh. I have been blessed to travel up there multiple times last year and this year. And, I mean, it's never the same.
It's definitely a team effort. Jimmy Hill and his committee of Robert Johnson and the people who are writing for him, those people have really knocked it out of the park, and they'll be moving things to that'd be one heck of a hole. Yeah, I might notice that. But everybody's done a great job, and like you said, keeping it fresh and different. That's important to us because we don't want to be the same when you come. We want to be something new every time that you come and visit us. And the house we were getting to, our next project will be the entry hall. As you come into Elm Springs, the first step was taking the carpet up. The house traditionally did not have carpet in it. Actually had an oilcloth in the main entry hall, which that's a very expensive thing to have reproduced today. So that's on our wish list. But the immediate thing now is to get the hardwood floors polished, cleaned, look in better shape than they are now, and to put wallpaper up. A house of Elm Springs stature would have had wallpaper in the public rooms. So we've found some period wallpaper that we'll be putting on the walls. And of course, all of this is done with donations. We're not using SCV money to do this. That's the important thing, that we want to make sure the house is taking care of the house. We don't want SCV membership. Anything it We want SCV money to go towards our museum, taking care of that, taking care of HQ. Let the house take care of itself. So the tours and donations, anything that we're raising at the house goes back to the house. And of course, we have the room at Elm Springs that you can rent. That's been generating some revenue as well. So we don't want the house to be a burden to the SCV, and it's not. It's actually doing fairly well. So, and just excited about the future over there. Every day is an adventure, and learning something new every day. New things are coming in at both Elm Springs and the museum. So it's a great place to work, and I'm just honored to be there.
Well, we're honored to have you, Adam. As you know, many people know, it's hard to be in an executive director position sometimes, and especially in this organization, it's definitely hard to be an executive director. And what y'all have done over there in just the past couple of years has just been outstanding. And what you guys have done with Elm Springs, from it being the headquarters of the SCV to bringing it back to being a home, and tours and the garden and just everything y'all have done there is just nothing short than amazing. And then, not to mention the fact that the museum, all the events you guys do, everything. And we're about to take a break. And when we get back, if Adam has some time to talk about a couple of events that y'all might be running up there soon. And
Sure.
someone asked about the Lee Monument that's been moved to to the museum. So if you want to talk about that when we get back, we will. Yes, I'm gonna put this up here because Adam does. I like to brag on Adam. The only time I can brag on Adam is when I trick him on to come into the show. So I like to do it every time I can. Past Commander in Chief, the Ric Flair of the SCV, the legend, Paul Gramlin Jr., has said that Adam has been a great addition to headquarters. I couldn't agree more, Commander. He has just done a fantastic job. We pat you all on the back, brother, and everybody else up there that works their butt off, because we know this can't be done by one man, but everybody up there, it seems like y'all are just working your hardest to do great things. So thank y'all.
Appreciate y'all very much. Like I said, it's an honor to work there, and I don't talk to Paul near as much as I used to. It seems like we used to talk on the phone every day when he was Commander in Chief. So it means a lot coming from him. So thank you, Paul.
Now, before we get into again, trying to double task over here. Before we get into the last bit of news, and of course, our sponsorship, a break, and of course the special announcement. Haven't forgotten about that either. Trying to get this QR. Mr. Ron, is it okay if I send the QR code in the chat? Please let me know. But while I'm waiting on that response, as you know, last Thursday we had our Chief of Heritage Operations, Mr. Ron Kennedy, and we've also had our Chief of Public Affairs, our Lieutenant Commander in Chief, all talked about Arlington. The Naming Commission has now started attacking the Arlington Confederate Monument. I'm scared to know even what their plan is for it. Right now, the only thing I've heard of is just moving. Okay, thank you, Mr. Ron. But if you don't know what we're doing to fight this, go back and watch last week's Look Around the Confederation. first 30 minutes is dedicated to how we are fighting this back. And I'm about to put a link in the chat and what you do. Obviously, I would like you to save it and watch the rest of this episode and then do this. But I am sending the link in the chat. I think it is sent. Let me make sure. That is gibberish. Let's see here. See if it's working. There it is. Okay, it worked. All right. So, of course, when you click on the link, your screen will look a bunch like this. I know you can't see it that well. But again, save the monument. Stop the destruction at Arlington National Cemetery. That's the first thing you'll see. And what you do is you'll fill out all your information. And just keep hitting the next button, filling out. Make sure you change the email. There will be a preset email. You can wipe the slate clean and completely write a paragraph like I did. I probably should have just kept with what y'all said because I got on my preacher box via email, which is special. Make sure to stay respectful, good Southern gentlemen or ladies. We're asking everybody to be involved in doing this. This is not just an SCV thing. This is calling all hands on deck. So make sure you do it. Change a bit of the email if you're not much of a talker and just send that. Or, of course, if you want to just tear your heart into it. Tear your heart into it. But make sure to be respectful, Southern gentlemen and ladies. Our Chief of Heritage Operations, Mr. Ron, says we were keeping count of the number of folks who use the link. We will find out how many will walk the walk as well as talk the talk. Amen. So many people ask what we do when situations like this when happen. What have we done? What have we done? This is something we're doing, people. This is how we can all help out. So don't just send it to your camp. Send it to your UDC chapter. Send it to your OCR. Send it to your friends that just like Confederate heritage. Send it to everybody you know will support this. This is how we fight back. And again, these people are only going to recognize us if we blow up their emails. Make sure you sign this. Make sure you click on the link below. I'll be sharing it again at the end of the stream. I wanted to talk about it now, and I'll probably talk about it again at the end of the show. So, yes, thank you, Big Papa, for emailing yours. Big Papa told me his name a long time ago, but I believe just calling him Big Papa on the stream just sounds so much better. Send it to Send it to the vets who have been training at the bases that they've been renaming. Send it to everybody you can. This is how we fight back. So make sure you send the link below. Or make sure you click on the link below towards the end of the show and fill all this out. Again, I'll be posting it at the end. Dadgummit, Dr. Mitchell. He got me. But yes, please click on the link after the show. It will be sent in the chat again. If you're on your computer, you can click on it. It'll automatically save it. Or if you're on your phone, you can click it. I think you can automatically save it and just come back to us. It should also be going out on the Telegraph as well. But remember, this is not just an SCV thing. Make sure to share it to your SCV people. Make sure to blow up everybody. I'm about to send it out to, my brigade groups, Mississippi Division page, anybody I can to make sure that this information gets out, which I know it probably already has or is about to. But again, make sure you get this information out. So without that, I will go into another one of tonight's sponsor. No, not Moose Facts. Carl is just going to have to be patient on that because I'm still mad at Connor getting me last week with male moose weighs around 840 to 1,500 pounds. I want to thank him for that. But, tonig's sponsor for our break, Southern Flags and Quilts. Now, I just got the flag that I asked from them, and it is just outstanding work. Absolutely beautiful, and this is coming from a family that, let me tell you, we buy a lot of flags. And this is one of the best flags I've ever seen. Southern Flags and Quilts have done a great job with it. Of course, their link is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You can support them. And here's something else. You're not supporting some Yankee that's making these flags. You're not supporting some amateur. You're not supporting someone that doesn't even live in our country. You're supporting someone from the South, as Southern Flags and Quilts is based in Alabama. You can't get more Southern than Alabama. It's the heart of Dixie, as a lot of people say it. I like to say Mississippi, but I am a bit biased. But make sure you go support Southern Flags and Quilts. Here is a bit of their work. If you don't believe me on the quality, it's gotten recommendations from even our commander-in-chief when he was on the episode the other night. But here are some of their flags. Just look at the quality. They're always historically accurate, too. They go to great lengths to make sure of this. And, of course, they made me one recently. I will be showing that on one chat soon. Which chat? Well, I have to keep that under my quilt for now, but I would make sure to tune in for when I do. So make sure you check out Southern Flags and Quilts. Link in the chat. Let's see here. Mississippi is the crossroads of Dixie. Thank you. Yes, they're beautiful flags. Cousin Vinny, always done great work. So make sure you go support them. Again, their link is in the chat for their Facebook page. Jude is correct. Don't give money to people that are going to hate us. Give money to Southerners. Let's support our brothers and sisters on their businesses. Yes. Hey, look at that. Even Southern Flags and Quilts. It's in the chat. I think it's the first time we've had a sponsor in the chat other than Carl. So thank you guys again for the flag. We will be revealing it soon in October. Can't say much right now. I'm going to make it a good episode, though, I promise. And again, let's thank our sponsors for tonight, and especially for supporting the episode. So without further ado, we're going to hit a quick commercial break. Make sure to grab your Pop-Tarts, and we'll be back, and Adam will talk about the events that the museum has coming up and a bit on the Robert E. Lee Monument.
I've always been proud of my Confederate ancestry, but I never pursued becoming a member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. It all changed in 2017 when I saw New Orleans take down their Confederate statues. Those monuments come down really lit a fire inside of me, and came to the conclusion I needed to join the Sons of Confederate Veterans. It's a domino effect. We give in on this, it's just a matter of time before they start taking down Thomas Jefferson and George Washington. We need to draw the line in the sand right now. These are our Confederate monuments, these are our Southern heroes, and you're not going to take them down. Our museum is going to be funded 100% by the Sons of Confederate Veterans. The history, the narrative that we present will be the narrative that we write, so it will be our story, our museum. Right now, if we do not protect our heritage and present it as it truly was, it's going to be lost forever. We're going to tell the true story here. I'm Adam Southern, and I'm a proud descendant of Private Alfred D. Southern, a Confederate veteran.
Man, I love that commercial break. That adds so much, that face video. And, of course, it's actually, I think, the first time I ever saw Adam was via that. And then I saw you a month later for the first time when you were, I think the first time you did the executive director report at National. And I remember saying, I feel so bad for that man.
I like the video. It shows how far we've come with our museum. That's just to think we were still under construction. Yeah. Let's redo that and show our completed museum.
That's one of the reasons why I love that one, and I try to play it every now and then when we're talking about the museum. Of course, I believe with Miss Ron that y'all should reshoot it. And Connor says it makes you look like you've aged a lot. But it also
thanks a lot, brother.
Yeah. Connor's always in our corner. And again, it shows just how drastically the museum has changed in just a couple years. And it shows how much hard work y'all have put into it. I want to thank Christian for filling out the petitions. Make sure to send them out. Make sure you get everybody behind it. And I also want to thank Brandon. He said he's been sending them out. Thank you, sir. Y'all keep on it. Y'all keep on it. Y'all are doing great work. Let's get those petitions out there. But yeah, Paul says you have no idea how much the museum has changed. I don't. I was not probably the best well-known national person at the time. I was like, I went up there. I was like, leadership's doing a great job, and I basically left. I was more of a camp guy back then, but I mean, just even when I guess the term started paying attention, I hate it because I pulled an Adam. But y'all have done so much work. But moving on before I drop my computer again. You have no idea how hard Florida was for Adam. If I remember correctly, Adam, you'd been on the job for like a month, maybe?
No, that was actually, I had been a full year in at that point.
Okay.
By Florida. Mobile was my first reunion. I had been there about a month when we went to Mobile. But I was still too new to, I guess they were giving me a reprieve at Mobile, but Florida was definitely my baptism of fire. Yeah.
But luckily we were able to keep them because I think you have done a fantastic job, sir. And I hope that we swindle you into doing this for many more years. And thank you, Adam, again. Now, real quick, how much can you say, or how much do you know on the new Robert E. Lee monument that came up at the museum?
Well, I really haven't made any big announcements. I was going to wait until after this weekend, but we're going to have sort of a soft unveiling when the GEC's there this weekend. We're having the GEC meeting October 1st at Elm Springs. We've recently put up, and I mean recently, it's only been maybe 2-3 weeks, a beautiful Texas limestone Robert E. Lee statue. And it's an exact replica. And it's an exact replica of the Robert E. Lee statue that was in Statuary Hall. And we had a compatriot in Texas commission this one. Had a local artist there in Texas, a man of rather great renown, I would say, sculpted this out of Texas limestone, a beautiful piece. And we created a nice raised base for it. He's standing, how would you say, about 12 feet off the ground, Moose?
I would say about 12 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it turned out nice. Beautiful statue to begin with, but we had the base made for it, and it matches the limestone. And hadn't put any pictures out there, but we'll put some out here this weekend while the GEC's there. Probably when we have the next pilgrimage at Elm Springs, we'll make a big deal, kind of a big unveiling of the statue. But wanted to do something with the GEC there this weekend, kind of a soft unveiling, just to let people know it's there. But it's made a great addition to our property. If you've been to the museum, there's front of the museum here, then you had to walk around to the side, and sort of on the back is where the Jefferson Davis monument is. It came out of Memphis. Well, this monument, the Robert E. Lee monument we just put up, is halfway between Davis and the front door. So it's on that northeastern corner of the building. So it's a beautiful building. The way he's facing, he will be looking towards Elm Springs and the back of the Forest Monument when it's put up. So just has added a lot more to our property. We said we're not going to have a monument graveyard out there, but I think a few monuments out there make this kind of a beautiful setting. And just the way Elm Springs sits on the hill with 80 acres, adding a few monuments out there just makes all the difference, and especially fits into what we're doing out there with the Confederate Museum. So another reason for you to come to Elm Springs, you can see the new Lee statue, and definitely watch our social media pages. We'll post some pictures of it this weekend.
Yeah, you heard it here first. SCV Chat is a place where breaking news will happen, even if we didn't mean it to.
Yep.
But yes, everybody kind of knows, how I feel about Lee. Just a great Southern gentleman. I put him up there in the likes with Washington, but I mean, I looked at that monument. And I probably stared at it for a good couple minutes. It is absolutely beautiful. Again, make sure you check out the National Confederate Museum at Elm Springs on Facebook. Make sure you follow our social medias. And then I think Historic Elm Springs is the name of the Facebook page for them. Make sure you follow both of them because they give regular good updates. And, of course, make sure you follow the official Sons of Confederate Veterans page on Facebook as well. Make sure you follow all those for updates, and especially the museum one, because you'll find a couple new things. Like, I think I can say this since it already happened, but y'all are open, I think, this past Saturday?
Yeah, we'll be open since we're having the GEC meeting up there on the 1st. We'll be open this coming Saturday, and we were open this past Saturday. So anytime that we're going to have some sort of event up there, the museum will be open. We're trying to be open at least once a month. So the October date is October 1st. So that will be our open Saturday in October. It's kind of a little bit early, but we'll have a November date. And, of course, the December date will be in conjunction with the Murray Christmas Historic Home Tour, which is the first weekend in December. Elm Springs and the museum gladly participate in that, and are glad to participate in it. And we'll see a lot of tourists come in and out our doors that weekend. And if you want to come see the museum, it would be a great time to do it. And a lot of great homes are open in Murray County that weekend, so it would be a good time to come up. There'll be lots to do. So come see us.
Yes, please do. Again, you wouldn't know that information unless you've liked the National Confederate Museum's Facebook page. So make sure you go support them on social media. Make sure you go support them in person because, again, the museum is changing every day. So no fear of Well, yeah, I know, John, but it's the fact that I didn't realize they were going to unveil it this weekend. Luckily, I haven't made my post on the monument yet, so at least I'm not the one that spoiled it. But yeah, no, it happens. Before we kind of start winding down, Adam, is there any events going on at Elm Springs or the museum coming up?
Just the two biggest events we've got right now are the GEC meeting this coming weekend, and of course, if you're a SCV member, you're welcome to attend any GEC meeting. So if you'd like to come to that, I think we'll probably call the meeting to order at 8:30 in the morning. So come spend the morning with us, tour the museum. The museum will probably open at 9 and be open till at least 2. So 9 to 2 Saturday. And again, Merry Christmas Historic Home Tour. That's the first weekend in December. There's a lot of great houses on it this year, so this would be a good time to come up. Not only Elm Springs, but the Athenaeum in Columbia, the Polk Home, which is the only surviving residence other than the White House of President James K. Polk. A plantation called Skipwith. There's a farm called Caneland that's from the 1840s. It's going to be on the tour, and several historic churches from the Williamsport community. So this would be a good time to come up and see a lot of different historic sites that you normally don't get to see because some of these homes are private residences. So you only get to see them this one time of the year.
What day is that again?
It's the first weekend in December. I believe it's the 2nd and 3rd. 2nd and 3rd of December. I could be wrong. It could be the 3rd and 4th, but whatever that first Friday and Saturday in December is, that's when the tour dates are. So To find out more information on that, you can go to murraychristmas.org, or you can find Murray Christmas on Facebook. And okay, my wife's telling me it's the 2nd and 3rd. So she's the chairman of the Murray Christmas Historic Home Tour, so she would know.
Let's see here. Ooh, we might get free food from Carl Jones.
All right.
How about that? There's some extra incentive there. John says the new Lee Monument looks great. Pictures will be published as soon as the museum does. So, same Saturdays as the Franklin Relic Show. Thank you, Miss Sandra, for telling us. Adam did a great job tonight. Let's see here.
Kayla wanted me to mention that we will have Santa Claus at Elm Springs again, and I forgot to mention that Santa is a SCV member, and he gladly volunteers his time to come from the North Pole to Elm Springs in conjunction with the home tour, and he'll be at Elm Springs that Saturday, so the 3rd. So we don't charge anything for that, neither does Santa. It's just a great way for us to give back to the community, and we ask for donations if you want to give some sort of donation when you come, and just bring the kids out to see Santa.
Yes, make sure you go. Will it be at Elm Springs, I'm guessing?
We'll probably have it in our rental room at Elm Springs, the old conference room.
Okay. Make sure you go see Santa at Elm Springs. How many times could someone say that? That's an awesome moment. Again, Adam said that Santa is an SCV member, so make sure you go see him at Elm Springs. Take your kids, have a good time. Carl said Santa did a good job last year, so there's some incentive for you. John said, with Santa being immortal, did he join under his own war service record?
He had a cousin.
He had a cousin. You don't want to miss that, Moose. I don't want to miss anything. That's my problem. Is like I don't like missing anything. But I wouldn't mind going to see Santa at Elm Springs. Let me tell you. I guess that's the last bit of news. Make sure, again, we're about to have a special announcement. So again, please wait a bit. But the link again for the petition for the naming commission is in the chat, so make sure you get it. Jimmy says his name was Rufus Claus out of the 1st Virginia Infantry.
That's right. That? Yeah. Good job, Jimmy. Thank you.
How about that? Thank you, Jimmy. Make sure you tell your kids that, people. But again, petition link in the chat. Make sure you check that out after tonight's episode. And remember, make sure to share this episode and email scvyouth.outreach@gmail.com. And you can be put on the upcoming episode of Look Around the Confederation. On this week's of Look Around the Confederation, we will have a representative of Beauvoir on to talk about Fall Muster, Beauvoir's biggest fundraising event. And, of course, Beauvoir is the last home of our only President, Jefferson Davis, and is owned and operated by the United Mississippi Confederate It is owned by the United Mississippi Sons of Confederate Veterans. I'll get it out eventually. Again, it has been a night for me. Thank you, everybody, for telling me great show. Now, remember to tune in Thursday. And one last thing, though. We have the special announcement. It is time to reveal the special guest for SCV Chat 100, everybody. So, with that, though, we'll end the episode and play the video. We will see you guys Thursday. And remember, no Fumar in the elevator.
100th episode, a milestone in the television world, a tradition dating back to the 1950s. When a television show reaches their 100th episode, that's when they can sell their rights to their show to broadcasters for reruns. That's when a television show can really start making money. While here at SCV Chat, we aren't a traditional television show and we aren't in it to make money, we do care about tradition. So join us on October 17th at 7 p.m. Confederate Standard Time and tune in for the 100th episode of SCV Chat. We will have our guest host Carl Jones for the evening. We will also have one of the biggest guests in SCV Chat history. He's an actor, a celebrity, a former politician, one of the most famous defenders of Confederate heritage, past Chief of Heritage Defense of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, Ben Jones, also known as Crazy Cooter of the Dukes of Hazzard. Make sure to clear your schedule. Make sure you are there for the biggest and most historic episode of SCV Chat. SCV Chat 100 will be live October 17th on Facebook and YouTube at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.